Morning, all. All right. News of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Sunday, October the 27th. Starting at the top of the board, that's how this works. Garnet Hathaway has been fined $5,000. So this is how the fines work, right? He's been fined $5,000 for an elbow during the second period of yesterday's game against Joel Eriksson of the Minnesota Wild. By being a $5,000 fine, people look at that and go, well, that's not enough money for it to actually change anything, so rah. And then you have the people saying, I don't think that should have been a fine at all. It's just normal hockey play. They get angry. And then others who would say, well, why wasn't it a suspension? They get angry. These fines only make sure that everybody's mad. It almost looks like trolling. It does. Like, I just wonder when they put these out if they're like, well, this should make the internet happy and angry all at the same time. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Hathaway elbow. Did you feel like it should have been a fine? Do you feel like it should have been more? Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, this is always the way to make sure that everybody's upset. Sasha Barkov could play tomorrow against the Sabres for Florida. It makes sense to get him into a game before the Global Series, which is next weekend. Dallas, I believe, is flying out today for that. So it makes sense to have Barkov back in the lineup and to give him a game and get him back into the swing of things. The bad news is that, the Sabres, they're playing well right now. They've sort of dug their way out of the mess they got into early in the season. And the idea of playing against Florida with Barkov returning to the lineup, we'll see how things go for Buffalo in that situation if that's the case. But having Barkov back in the lineup would be huge for a Florida team that looked pretty good last night. So yeah, we'll see how things turn out. Josh Anderson was hurt on a shot block last night, of course, but he is traveling with the team to Philadelphia. So there's the chance he will play. But just as sort of just in case, they've called Condotta up from Laval. So we'll see if he gets into the lineup in the event that Josh Anderson's not able to go. But it just definitely sounds like it's nothing major, because if it was major, then he wouldn't be traveling with the team to Philly. So Josh Anderson may very well not miss time, and he may very well just miss maybe like a game. We'll see what happens there. Nazem Kadri, we'll see if Nazem Kadri gets any kind of a fine or anything. There have been times where players get fined. Coaches definitely get fined. Organizations can get fined when one complains about officiating. That's why they don't generally complain about officiating. And so Kadri felt that last night's game against the Winnipeg Jets, the officials had some say in the outcome, at least according to him. And he was very unhappy with the way that he felt the game was stolen from them. The one thing that I would say, and I've said this for many years, the option is always there to kill off the penalty. I understand what he's saying. I totally get it. So that game against Winnipeg, it was a very good one. It was a lot of fun. And I think for the Flames too, they really wanted to have that chance to defeat the number one team in the National Hockey League right now, and the leaders of the Central. Who would forget that? The Winnipeg Jets. But yeah, Kadri very upset, very not happy with the result last night and with how it got there, in that he feels like the officials, they put their weight on it, and that's, in his opinion, why they lost against Winnipeg. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that, though. I thought it was a really good game. I agree that sometimes there's penalties that we can look at and say, well, I don't know if that should have been called, or that should have been called. It wasn't. We have that debate every single night when we're, watching National Hockey League games, don't we? So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on Kadri. I don't know if the NHL is going to fine him. They can. They absolutely can. I know from a Vancouver perspective, Alex Burrows was fined at one point for complaining about a referee that he felt didn't give the Canucks a fair shake. So, we'll see. They don't have to, obviously, but at times that can take place. Nicholas Aube-Kubel is set to return for Buffalo tomorrow against the Florida Panthers. It will be interesting to see how they maybe change the lines, or do you? Like, they're playing well right now. Do you maybe let Aube-Kubel be a healthy scratch while things are going pretty well? That there are some coaches that will not make any changes to the lineup when things are going well, so we'll see where Aube-Kubel slots in, if he's on the fourth line, or if they leave him upstairs and say, you can watch a game and we'll see how things go. But again, having him back against Florida, he's a speedy bottom six guy. so I don't see how it would hurt. San Jose's off to a really rough start, so I wanted to do a little bit of a comparison here. The 07-2 start, it looks a lot like last year's 08-1 start. Ryan Warsawski, the coach, already saying that this is unacceptable, and that was after the loss before the one they had yesterday. And last year they ended up 0-10-1 before they got their first victory. So in the case of the San Jose Sharks, they are having another really bad start to the season. 2022-2023, they were 2-7, which is a rough start, but it's better than 07-2. For San Jose, it really is going to be interesting to see how they navigate this. This was a team that I felt should be better this season than last season, just with the additions they've made. They have to be better, you would think, and yet they're 07-2. I think their play has been better than it was last year with that 08-1 that became 0-10-1 start, but the record doesn't tell you that. So we'll see what happens and how long it takes before Mike Grier makes a move of some sort. And I'm not sure what kind of move you make if you're San Jose. I don't know who you trade. I don't know what you trade for. I'm not sure exactly how that looks, but we'll see how long this goes on before changes come to the San Jose Sharks lineup. Good story out of Vancouver. Baines gets a really nice ovation with his first NHL goal last night. Definitely a connection between him and the fans in this community. And he gave the puck and stick from his first NHL goal to his parents. It's not on the board there, but it's just, that's my note. So at any rate, he gave it to his parents. It's a really good story. The picture of him with his parents, and his dad's got the stick, and I think he gave his mother the puck. It's just a really good story. So Vancouver's, they're building up chemistry. It's nice to see Baines was in the lineup and that he got his first goal wearing those spiffy new skate jerseys that they have in Vancouver. So yeah, good on Baines. And by new, I mean over the last couple of years. Not that they have another new skate jersey. Although, if they wanted to do it in a white jersey, come on, Vancouver. You could do a white skate jersey. I know you can. Do that new design. You can do the sleeves all fun and funky like that too. Do it in a white and just take our money. And then we'll go. So looking at the comment section for the power rankings a little bit, just an overview. And the standings argument, I talk about this later in the season a lot, but it even works now. The teams that are tops in the standings, teams that are bottom in the standings, it doesn't necessarily say who's playing well or who isn't. So I try to take that into account more than anything. And I don't really pay much attention to the standings, thus the Winnipeg being the same division as Dallas escaping me because it was really late at night. But, you know, the standings argument, I understand where people are coming from on some level, but at the same time, I watch the games every day and I go, these teams are playing well. These teams I don't think are playing as well. And that's kind of how that gets thrown together. And it is difficult early in the season because you got to remember too, like, well, this team's higher in the standings. Okay, but there's other teams that have games in hand. There's other teams that can catch them if they win their games. Like, it becomes kind of sort of a mess. So I understand where people are coming from with the standings argument, but I've done the power rankings the same way for the last 6 years, and yeah, it's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to change. And I never worry about, well, this team has to be above that team because they won that week. That's not something I worry about. So at any rate, there you go. But thank you guys so much for all your support as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always, and I will talk to you again soon.